Ever felt stuck? Like you've hit a wall and you just need a comeback. Well, today, we're digging into the actual science of that process. We're going to break down how you can rebuild any system in your life, not with some cheap hype, but with a real playbook based on modern biology and psychology. Let's dive in.
Okay, first things first. Let's just get one thing straight. You know that big screen Rocky-style comeback? Yeah, that's pretty much a myth. The source material for this whole thing puts it perfectly. A comeback is not one big moment. It's something totally different.
And why is that? Well, it's because modern science completely reframes the whole idea. See, a comeback isn't just some emotional journey anymore. In 2025, it's a structured process. We're talking strategy for your actions, psychology for your mindset, and even biology for your brain and body. So let's start by busting a few common myths about this.
All right, first up, let's tackle myth number 1, brain over motivation. This is the idea that a comeback is all about finding some magic spark of motivation. But the science? It tells a completely different story. It's much, much more about what's physically happening inside your head.
I mean, we've all heard this a million times, right? Just get hyped up, find your why, pump yourself full of motivation. But what if that's not how the brain actually works when it's trying to rebuild from a major setback? So here's the old way of thinking. It's all about willpower and hype. But the 2025 science tells us, no, it's a brain process. This is the crucial shift right here. We're moving away from this fuzzy idea of just trying harder and into the reality that this is a tangible, physical process happening in your brain.
Okay, so how does your brain actually rebuild? This gets into this amazing concept called neuroplasticity. All that means is that your brain isn't set in stone. It can physically change. When you face setbacks, the confidence circuits in your brain, they literally get weaker. But, and this is the cool part, by getting these repeated, small wins, and I mean really, really small, you start to rebuild those belief pathways. You're literally rewiring your brain to believe in yourself.
And this quote just nails it. A comeback starts when the brain learns, hey, I can succeed again. It doesn't learn this from hype or a motivational speech. It learns from evidence, from action. Think of your brain like a scientist. It doesn't care about your feelings, it cares about the data. And those small wins, that's the data.
All right, that leads us perfectly into our next section, debunking myth number 2. This time, we're talking about resilience, specifically how resilience is really about fast recovery.
So does resilience just mean being tough? We have this image of a resilient person as someone who's just unbreakable, like an iron wall that never cracks. But is that really what it means to be strong? Is the strongest person really the one who never gets knocked down at all?
Well, here's the new thinking. The old idea was that strong people never break. But the science today tells us something different. Strong people recover fast. It's not about being invincible. It's all about your bounce back rate. Yeah, strong people feel the hit. They get stressed out. But what defines their strength is how quickly they can reset and get back in control.
So let this one really sink in, because it's a huge reframe. Resilience is not toughness. It is the speed of your recovery. Your strength isn't measured by how many hits you can take without flinching. It's measured by how fast you get back up, mentally and emotionally, after you've been knocked down.
And that brings us to our third and final myth, which, man, is this a big one in today's hustle culture world? Energy first, ambition second. We're going to tackle the idea that you can just power through anything with sheer willpower. You see it everywhere, right? Grind harder, outwork everyone. But can you really just hustle your way out of a slump? What happens when your tank is completely empty? Can you really force your way back when you are running on absolute fumes? This right here might be one of the most important things we talk about today. Most people who feel lost are actually just exhausted. They're not lazy. That feeling of being unmotivated or stuck, it's usually not a character flaw. It's a biological state. Plain and simple, it's exhaustion.
And here's why energy is so much more important than willpower. It's simple biology, really. Fatigue absolutely kills discipline. Willpower isn't magic. It's a finite resource that runs on energy. Things like sleep and good nutrition are what actually rebuild your sense of control. So a real comeback? It doesn't start with some grand new ambition. It starts with a stable routine, maybe even just getting a good night's sleep.
Okay, so we've busted the myths. We know what not to do. Now let's get to the good stuff, the solution. What does this new science-backed approach actually look like? Well, here's the new playbook, the 5-step comeback formula.
So here it is, the 2025 comeback formula. Step 1, and this is non-negotiable. Recover your energy first. Step 2, start very small, daily, to start that brain rewiring process. 3, build proof for your brain through action. 4, reduce decision fatigue. Just simplify things. And finally, number 5, slowly upgrade your identity. And you know what? That last step, that's the real game changer.
Yeah, because a real comeback isn't just about getting back to where you used to be. This is a quiet transformation. It's about who you're becoming.
And that brings us to this idea of the identity shift. This is the final stage of a real comeback. It's that moment when you stop telling yourself, "I've failed," and you start acting like someone who is rebuilding. Your brain is so powerful, and it just loves to stay consistent with the story you tell it. So when you change that internal story, your actions can't help but follow. And here's the beautiful thing about it, captured perfectly in this quote. It's not a performance. It's not about proving other people wrong. A comeback is built on hundreds of quiet decisions made when absolutely nobody is watching. It's you choosing to go for a walk instead of scrolling. You choosing to go to bed on time. Hundreds of those tiny little choices. Because ultimately, that's what this is really all about. It's about becoming someone new, one system at a time. You're not just patching up a problem. You're building better, more resilient systems for your life. And in doing that, you are quite literally becoming a new version of yourself. So, I want to leave you with this final thought. The real question isn't, how do I get back to normal? The question is, who are you rebuilding yourself to be? Using this playbook, building one system at a time, who is that person you're becoming?